I'm doing this video for 446 pack and also the 346 pack metering block. Most of the problems guys are going to run into in the where they have no like idle, or they're turning the screws, nothing happens. There's other things that'll cause that, which are in my previous video, but this is a real problem with these particular metering blocks. The idle circuit picks up fuel from this port here and then brings it down, here where your air fuel screw is like metering how much of it's going into the base plate. So this port here connects all the way through a passage from here, this side here, into this area here. And this is a metering tube. And what this does is it goes all the way down. This is the main metering well, and it goes all the way down. You're not going to be able to see it, but you can see the tip of it right here. So it goes from the top all the way down. Now this is a very small orifice. I have one here that's apart, and you're not only going to see this on the 6 packs, but there's a lot of other carburetors that use this metering tube system. The other more common system is they use an orifice that's pressed in. I'll do a video on that later, so we're not getting too overwhelmed. But anyways, this is what they look like when you extract them. And if you can see how small that orifice is. So it doesn't take anything for this thing to build up with waxy fuel, and even this port here, that hole feeds the tube feeds up into that port, and then that port in turn, I've got this one apart. Like I said, it's cross drilled from here. Let me see if I can stick something through there. That's too big. Something we could see. So I'm going from this idle pickup port, fuel, I'm pushing it through. Now if you can see in the top, you can see that running through there. So that fuel goes into that passage, which corresponds to the hole in here, which then this tube is pressed into this hat deal, and it goes down. Now, you can replace these tubes. These things aren't cheap, and they're kind of hard to get. I get them from my wholesaler. You have to have a commercial account to buy from them, but there's probably people selling them. This is kind of like the new style one. It's got a little bend in here. You wonder why that bend is when you install them, so that this bend is offset to the outside of the metering well. And what that does is gives you a better alignment of that port connecting to the idle port. And then also I think they did that to keep it out of the center stream of the fuel, flowing through the jet. So anyways, you can get these and just replace these here. Now the only difference in these are like an 0.28 diameter hole. These are 0.23. Now that's not a big deal. 5 thousandths. Actually the 5 thousandths is going to give you a little more available fuel to the idle circuit, and then it's not as small to where it'll clog up as easy as the smaller one. Because you remember, you're adjusting that air fuel mixture by the metering screws. So if it's just going to give you more fuel available. So there's no problem with using these in any of the metering blocks you find that have this system in there. So the thing is you need to remove them in order to clean this crap, because you know there will be stuff down in the holes, you know, waxy residue around this cap. You'll pull them out and there will be a bunch of gummy goo in the hole, in the tube. So you know you have to remove them to clean all that. If you guys are like bead blasting any of this stuff, you don't want to be bead blasting into those idle ports and all that stuff. You know, if you need to, you know, clean it up like you're chromating them or plating them, just blast the outside of it, you know, to clean it up. And this part here, you can just wire brush it. You know, just don't get in the habit of getting media all inside this crap. I mean, when you got these plugs and stuff out, you can clean them all out, you know, check for media in there, but it'll just save a bunch of extra work. So what we're going to get into is how do you remove these tubes. And so you can remove them without destroying them, and then just, you know, go in here, and if you even want to enlarge this port to a 028 or whatever, use, you know, the small micro bits and just run that drill through there, clean them out. Then you can also, you know, you go up here with some wires and clean it, and then you want to spray like carburetor cleaner on this end, stick it right in the tube, spray it out. You just want to clean the shit out of them to make sure there's no, you know, waxy residue or anything in there, and then you can reuse them. Now the way I do it is I drill a hole in the top of these. Now you can see how thick this hat is. You don't want to go any thicker than that. You want to stay below that. Let's measure it so you know. Now, you know, I actually, you know, do these by eye. I've been doing them so long, I just know how far to go down. But, you know, the actual measurement is 120. So, what is 125? A 16th? Let's see. No, 125 is an eighth. So you're just going to be shy of drilling it down an eighth of an inch. Shy. Don't go any deeper than that. You know, otherwise what you're going to do is you're going to hit that drill bit all the way in and booger in this, you know, this feed system up here. You can plug this with some JB weld. Just you know, put some on there and don't have it sitting like this to where it starts goobering down into the hole. You know, just put it on its side or whatever, and that'll seal them, and you'll be fine. You know, these things here, my costs on them are something like 12, 13 bucks. So, you know, you can save yourself some money by just cleaning these, because you have to extract them anyways. So you may as well just take a little extra time and not damage them, and then you can clean them. So what I'll do is let me set up and show you exactly how I extract these out and the high-tech tools I use. Okay, I'm going to show you how I extract these pickup tubes. First of all, you want to like put a center punch in the top of the tube. I kind of like to use these spring-loaded punches so you're not like beating on it with a hammer. And you know, if you want to measure them to get precise, that's even better. I just kind of eyeball them. If you see like they're a little bit off, you can actually walk that punch over a bit. Just put it on an angle and get in the center of it. In the center. You can see what I'm doing, just going on an angle. And when I get where I want it, just go dead in the middle. So what we're going to do is drill and tap these 632. So I think this is a number 36 bit. You can look on the chart for 632 tap. And what I'm going to do is I do this on my drill press. I have my vise, and you just want to tighten this up so it's pretty, 90 degrees. And what we're going to do is we're going to drill this down, like I say, about a little bit less than 1/8. You can mark your drill bit if you're unsure. So let me go ahead and okay, I got the bit set up in the drill press, so what I'm going to do is get it kind of lined up with the hole before I start. Like I say, I'm just going to go down a little bit less than 1/8. Where the greed factor comes in. But I didn't go through, so I'm fine. Anytime you're drilling a hole and you want to tap it, if you use your drill press, you've got your stuff jigged or however you're doing it, you've already drilled that hole, so it's still in the jig, it's still 90 degrees to your bit. So you want to get your tap started straight. Just put it in your drill press and get it, in the hole you drilled, and then grab the upper part of the chuck and put downward pressure and just thread this thing in. See, now it's bottomed out, so then I'm going to release it. I just released the chuck. Now this thing's perfectly 90. Now you got to remember that this is very shallow threads. You don't have that many threads. So if you got like a deep thread you wanted to go, you could start it with this and go as far as you can, then put your tap handle on, and it's still going to go perfectly straight then because you started it straight. And also, you want to use a bottoming tap. See how it's like squared off at the bottom? That'll give you the max thread in that shallow hole. So we'll do the same thing on the other one. And like I say, grab the top of the chuck, because if you grab down here, you're going to loosen it up. And just go clockwise, keep some downward pressure on your handle. Just check to make sure that went all the way down. Okay, it's bottomed. And that's it for the drilling and tapping, so we'll go back to the bench. Okay, the next little tool you're going to need this is a 632. You could use a round head. This is just something I had, 632 by 1 1/4 screw. You could use a flat head, whatever. And then I got a 632 nut on here, because the object is you want to screw. There's not a lot of threads there, so you want to screw this in until the bottom's out, and then actually use the nut to extract it. And I also use get a 632 fender washer. The socket I'm using is it's a 5/16 1/4-inch drive socket. Make sure there's a hole all the way through it. And the theory is your fender washers, you want to make sure your threads are all the way up. If you can get these in like 1.5 inches, they would even be better. I had 1 1/4 inch, that's what I'm using. This goes through the fender washer, this goes through the socket, and then what we're going to do, let me drag you guys over here and adjust the camera. You see that? Mitts in the way. So what I'm basically going to do is get my screwdriver. I got my nut all the way up against the head of that screw, and I'm going to screw this down until it bottoms out, and just snug. Just don't get animal with this. It doesn't need a lot. See now I got slop there. So this is a 5/16 nut, so I'm going to eyeball where it should be centered, and I'm just going to snug it up a bit. Just like that, snug it. Now, the key ingredient to removing these is heat. You'll find in carburetors, screws and stuff that don't want to come loose, use some propane on them, heat them up. Heat these castings up. You'll be able to get it out. So what we're going to do, get our propane. And if you look, we're going to heat like right, you can see where that tube is that this thing is going down into. And we're going to apply heat. That's going to make this casting expand, and then this thing's going to be able to come out real easy. So we're going to, flame's hot, we're going to test it. So it seems like it's coming freely. I'll keep that heat on there as I'm screwing this out so it doesn't tighten back up on me. Heat on this side too. Now you can use a socket and a ratchet, it might be quicker than my way, but okay, so you pop loose. Now this little bugger's hot, so pick the old up. So now see, this one here has the bent one in it. It's got the angle on it. The other one was just a straight one. The other one wasn't from a 6-pack. It was just a regular, 4-barrel, and it just happened to have that same system. So, basically, let me extract the other one, and then we'll just go over a few things. Okay, so when I'm taking this loose from my setup here, I get the little nut all the way back up at the top, so I can access this, this hole that's in there. And what I do, just so you got leverage, because you don't want to be grabbing this surface with pliers or anything, because it'll screw up the seal. I just put a drill bit in there to hold it, and then I take my my screwdriver and just break it loose. just like that. You know, like I say, you don't want to be grabbing this tube with needle nose, or especially here, and boogering up that finish that's on there. So I'll remove the next one and we'll continue. Okay, we've got the idle tubes out, and I measured these, and they measured, you know, 023. You know, I used these. I got a set of wire gauges, you know. So what I'm going to do, and I've already done that to this one, is I'm going to open these up to 028. So you know, you can buy these mini drill bits, but you need like a holder like this for them, and you just basically just, you know, hand, you know, like just you're drilling it by hand. You just got to keep an eye, because if you turn this, sometimes the drill bit stops turning. You got to tighten up the chuck a little more. See, now it's through. So now we've opened these up, and then I try to hold it upside down so it helps with any chips, getting them out of there. I mean, we'll clean these out with a carb cleaner really good. But I'll run that bit up in there so it, you know, doesn't, if there's any burrs, it'll drag them out of there. So, you know, that's a modification you can do, is, you know, it's going to allow some more fuel to get up to that circuit. And then also, I mean, even if you didn't want to enlarge them, you would like to take one of these bits that's the size and just go in there and, you know, clean, because, you know, that residue crap will like build up on the inside edge of this, you know. And the only really way to get it clean right to the edge is to, you know, use a drill bit to basically scraping it off of there. But yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much the procedure to extract these. And when I go, you know, then you want to, you know, really go through, clean the metering block, you know, down in these passages. You know, if you got some you know, gun brushes, it's probably somewhere around a 32 caliber or something, and, you know, just clean the crap out of them with the carburetor cleaner. You know, go through the ports, squirt it through so you're getting there. These holes here, they're emulsifiers. They go into the main metering well. It's a big hole here, but there's a little hole down inside there, so you find the right size, you know, drill bit, wire, whatever, just go in there. And you just want to make sure you pass all the way through into that main metering well. Same way with the power valve, they all go to that main metering well, you know, which is this one here, main metering well. So anyways, I hope I help you guys out. And like I say, if you you can put a dab of you know, epoxy, JB Weld or whatever, and always use that marine grade. It's like more fuel proof than the quick set. You know, just in case when you were drilling this and you got really close and you didn't see you had a pinhole going into this chamber, you don't want that, because if it draws air from here, it won't pick up fuel in the tube. So just go ahead, just for GP, just plug those off with some JB Weld. And when I assemble these, you know, I take this and you know, squirt a little WD, and you want to take you know, like a Scotch-Brite, and just, you know, polish up these, you know, these ends here. Just polish them up real good, so there's no burrs, nicks, and stuff on them. And the way I do is I just squirt a little WD on them, and like I say, you want to, if you put these to the outside of the metering well, this direction, it pretty much lines up, you know, the hole going through here. But that's not that critical. It's just more of a straighter shot when it's picking the fuel up. And what I do is I take it and I put it in my vise, or even a C-clamp, and just press them in that way rather than hammering on them, beating on them. It's a better way. C-clamp, big vise, and just crank them down until they're just flush with the top of the surface here. They don't have to be, you know, down in there all the way, just flush with the top, and you're in business. But that's going to be the problem you're going to run into when you rebuilt the carburetor. That there could be other issues, but this is the 90% problem why you're not getting idle fuel in that center carburetors, because the pickup tubes are blocked, and you can see how small they are. And the problem is a lot of these, you know, you guys got, you know, classic cars. They're not driven every day, so what happens is that fuel evaporates and it goes down, and then, you know, fuel leaves its bullshit residue, and it'll come down, you know, from here, and then leave its deposits, and if it keeps doing that and you're not driving enough for the fuel to clean it back out, it'll plug, and so then you'll have no idle fuel. Okay, I hope this guy helps you out. I might get into some more metering block stuff, how the other systems work that don't use these tubes, but we'll see. Let me know if you guys want to see it.